Are you ready to make the creamiest New York style cheesecake from home? Stay tuned. Hi everyone, welcome to Cooking with Chef Rich. Today we're going to be making a New York style cheesecake. One of my favorites. This is actually a recipe that I got from the Culinary Institute of America back when I was in school in the early 1990s. I'm going to share that recipe. The only differences are the amount of seasonings, meaning lemon juice and vanilla, but everything else is pretty much the same as the original recipe. We're going to be making a 10-inch cheesecake. This is not a drop pan, it's a hard pan, meaning the bottom doesn't drop out. And the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to show you a trick. We have to line this with parchment paper. A lot of people will take this and put it over the parchment and take a pencil and cut it. There's actually an easier way. First thing we're going to do is we're just going to spray the bottom a little bit with cooking spray so the parchment paper sticks. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take our parchment paper. We're going to fold it in half. We're going to fold it in half again. With the corner being right over here, we're going to fold this in half. And then we're going to fold it one more time. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this right to the center and put your finger right at the edge of where you got to cut it. Take a sharp knife or scissors. Not really great for your knife. Voila. Pretty smooth, huh? Nice trick. All right, let's jump right in. First thing we're going to be doing after this, that was the first thing. The second thing we're going to be doing is making a graham cracker base. Very, very easy. I'm going to be putting the ingredients in the description down below, so I'll give you exact measurements. I have some butter that I have to melt. I'm just going to throw it in the microwave for about 30 seconds. We're going to take some graham crackers. We're going to throw it in our food processor. And we're going to take some sugar, throw that in. And I'm going to put these up to puree. That's pretty good. Our butter is now melted. I was going to sing for you, but my cameraman David said, don't sing, please. He's heard me sing before. So we're going to take our melted butter and pour it in. Going to put our graham cracker base in our pan. The next thing we're going to do is we're just going to smooth it out a bit. Before I press down on it, I try to make it even, relatively. I kind of round this the best I can and just go around my pan. And this is going to go in a 375 degree oven for about 8 to 10 minutes until it's lightly browned. And let's talk about our actual cheesecake ingredients. So I have 2.5 pounds of cream cheese. I have 1 ounce of lemon juice, 2 ounces of vanilla. I have 5 whole eggs and 2 egg yolks. I have 5 ounces of heavy cream. I have 12 ounces of sugar and 2 ounces of cornstarch. You can't really see it, but there's cornstarch in here. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to cream our cream cheese and our sugar together. While that is going on, we also have to add our cornstarch. What I have found is if you add the cornstarch in later, it kind of all shoots up and there's cornstarch over everything. So at this point, I actually mix it in with the sugar and that works very, very well. So we're going to turn this on, and initially I'm going to do it slowly. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our vanilla to our eggs and our lemon juice to our eggs. We're going to add this in 3 to 4 increments. You don't want to add too much in the first one. This is actually very important as far as getting a nice creamy cheesecake. What happens is if you put too much liquid in, it gets very clumpy and you can't get the clumps out. The only way to get the clumps out are to straight it. So you only want to put a little bit of liquid in to begin with and put it on very slowly. And what I've found over years of making this cheesecake is that cream cheese, like clumps of cream cheese, stick to the paddle. So what I do is I take wearing a glove, I just kind of scrape that down too, get all the cream cheese off there. That way if there's any clumps, you won't have clumps when you take it out. But very important that you do that, because otherwise you'll 90% get clumps. That's good. And this just came out, you notice it's nice and brown a little bit. I'm just gonna let this sit over here, cool down a little bit. And next thing we're gonna add a bit more of our eggs and vanilla mix. And we'll add the rest of our eggs, vanilla, and lemon juice. And the last thing is our heavy cream. Who would have thought that making a cheesecake is so easy? That's fine. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're just going to spray the sides with cooking spray. Very important step. If you forget to do this, your cheesecake will stick and you will not be happy. Do not use anything that has a strong flavor like olive oil. Use something with a neutral flavor. You can also just use grease if you want to use like Crisco or something. That's fine too. When you're getting all the batter off of here, you'll notice like up here, if you come in close, you'll see like a clump here. You don't really want to put that in your cheesecake. Obviously, you'll have a clump of cream cheese inside your cheesecake. And once this is done, you want to be careful, this may still be a little hot. So once our cheesecake is ready, what we're going to do is we're going to be putting this in the oven, but it has to go into a water bath. So I'm going to place this in the oven, like so. About 3/4 of the way in. You'll notice that my faucet is running. I'm getting the hottest water I possibly can out of here. The hotter your water, the less cooking time. This will take anywhere between an hour and a half and 3 hours to cook. We're going to be cooking at 250 degrees, so it's a relatively low temperature and does take a long time. If you use cold water, the water has to heat up before the cheesecake really starts to begin to bake. So we're just going to put water in here. You want to really fill up the pan with water, and we're going to let it bake for, like I said, until it's done, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So our cheesecake was in the oven for right about 2.5 hours. Once it's relatively firm and a little bit brown on top, it's done. That's how you know if it's done. If it's still loose, it's obviously not done. I did actually have to add water to the pan one time during the middle because actually all the water evaporated. So just be aware of that one. And next thing comes the fun part. Now we get to try to turn it out. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna loosen the sides. You'll notice that I'm spinning the pan, not my knife. The knife is kind of staying still. I'm just making sure that's loose. Now on this pan, what I've done is I've taken some 10x sugar or confectioner sugar and just rubbed it on the pan and then poured it all out. What that's gonna do, sometimes the top of it will stick if there's any moisture at all. So by doing that, hopefully it won't stick. I'm gonna put this on top. Should come out relatively easy, I'm hoping. You do have to take off the parchment paper. Beautiful. Then we're gonna turn this out onto a plate. Now there's a little bit of confectioner sugar still on there. I'm just gonna take a brush. Sorry, I didn't say this before. When I took it out of the oven, I let it sit for just about 20 minutes or half an hour out of the oven, so it kind of solidifies. I didn't just turn it out. I didn't just take it out of the oven now. I took it out about a half hour ago. And I am gonna be decorating this later on with fruit, so it's gonna make it look really pretty. But before I decorate it with fruit, I do have to cool this down totally. So I'm gonna put this in the refrigerator now, and it's gonna stay in the refrigerator for at least 3 hours before I can decorate it. So I will see you in about 3 hours. See you then. So our cheesecake was in the refrigerator for about 2 or 3 hours. It's nice and cool now. And now we're gonna decorate our cheesecake. I have some strawberries that I've sliced thin. Take a look. I have kiwis that I've sliced thin. I have orange segments, and I have some blueberries. And what we're gonna do, just very, very simply, is we're gonna put this all around the cake. Takes a little bit of time to do this. And then we're gonna be brushing it with an apricot glaze once I'm all done. So Basically, we're just gonna keep going all the way around, and I will show you what it looks like when I'm done. So our fruit is now laid on top of our cheesecake. And now I'm going to do an apricot glaze for it. I have just about a tablespoon of water in here in the pan. I'm going to take, and what we're going to do is I'm going to put this on the stove and heat this up until it melts. And then we're going to brush it on our cake. This is going to take a couple minutes for it to melt, so I will see you in a few minutes. So I got our jelly melted, or jam I should say. Actually it was preserves, apricot preserves. You'll notice there's a couple of small clumps in there. Just try not to get them. You do have to work with this while it's hot, because once it cools down, it will go back into jelly form very, very quickly. We're just gonna brush the whole thing. You do need to work with this a little quickly, because as you can see, this is already turning back into jelly. You can always remelt it again, but it's just easier to try to work with it quickly. Anyway, that looks pretty good. So I finished our cheesecake. You can take a look at it. Just basically a layer of strawberries, kiwi, orange, and blueberries. You can put whatever fruit you like on there. So my cameraman David said, how are you going to cut this? So knife, preferably a sharp knife. I'm gonna heat this up a little bit. So I put our cheesecake on a plate. Just a little bit of whipped cream and some berries. And I do love cheesecake, especially Graham Cracker Crust. Really, really, really good. Just very, very nice flavor. You get the vanilla, it's very soft and smooth. Really, really nice cheesecake. If you guys like cheesecake, you will absolutely love this. If you like this video, please give me a like. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, hit the bell, and tell me what type of cheesecakes you make. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your comments down below. And thank you so much for watching. Be safe, everyone. Until next video, bye-bye.